haven't done anything yet, have we?
It's live.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, people are kind of seeing the behind the scenes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm an old man doing old man things.
I see how you kind of shuffled. I see how you kind of shuffled there.
Yeah, and see how the studio camera disconnected. What the heck happened?
Well, I still see you. So relax. I see you. I don't know about anybody else.
Okay, but it's not. Yeah, it's not showing here on the dashboard. I don't know what happened. It's not on my. Chris, something went wrong.
What went wrong?
All of a sudden it went off. I just sat down and this went off. Did I sit something on something or whatever?
No, it's live, Dad.
Okay, well, for a minute I could see.
It said action needed, close unused applications. So exit out of there. Can you see? Wait, what happened?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm ready. Oh, come on, man.
Maybe I don't remember touching anything on the computer.
Gary's not.
All I did was sit down. Maybe I touched something when I sat down.
Gary in the join. Okay, we're back, Gary. Sorry. Alright. In live video. No, you're live here. So see, hello, live.
Oh, okay.
You see yourself?
Yeah, I see you too.
Live from our home on the phone. It's the Michael and Gary person to person. Take 1. Episode 1.
No, this is episode 2, I think. Hey,
well,
Gary.
If you count our first poor attempt at this from the other day, you're right. I was in my car. But anyway, yeah. So here we are. So is this recording? Are we live on Facebook?
Yes, we are live on Facebook. And we are recording. So y'all have a great show. I will be here in the wings. I just need to get the phone going.
Okay.
Let us know when we can take a caller. In the meantime, we will just talk a bunch of bull, but that's no bull.
Okay.
Are you ready, Michael?
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
on.
I guess I am, Gary. The chair.
Oh, you wanted to do a different chair, right?
No, it's okay. I watch out for that now.
Get that electric one that you have. Keep them awake. It shocks them every 2 seconds.
So I'm talking about your son becoming a pastor in Dallas, even though I messed it up, and then my family dissing me. That becomes the story more than yours, and yours is a much better story. Okay.
That's no bull.
Yeah, that's the buffalo.
Like things have not gotten done in the past, and he seems to still have a lot of support from his base, so it's hard to judge all of this. I just hope that in his heart of hearts that he wants to do good and not just line his pockets with money and not be able to benefit people of all incomes in the United States. But you wouldn't know that from what he's done so far. I keep waiting for when's the good news going to come, and when people are able to benefit from not just whatever the stock market may do, and Trump wants it to go up, and I do too, but whether or not people on Medicaid or Medicare or people getting a minimum wage, getting a higher wage, and whether prices go down and inflation goes down, and remains to be seen as we're going through the storm, I guess you could say right now, not to mention world events and how that plays on the U.S. economy. So you're right, there is a lot going on, and it's hard to know what's true and what's bull from what you hear from when the president speaks as to whether he's talking politics speech or whether he's really talking to the hearts and the minds of the American people. And I don't see him directly looking at the camera to talk to American people, trying to tell them something that he can sincerely say rather than something that sounds good to say for him to take credit for and to make promises that a lot harder for him to fulfill than when you're on the campaign trail making promises. Now that he's actually in the office, you know, what's happening? He's doing a lot of immigration and trying to take a lot of people out, and he's shifting views on even that now. So, you know, it's hard to know where we're going and what it's going to be like when we get there.
Well, Gary, I know that you have money tied up in the stock market. Unfortunately for me, I don't think I do. Well, maybe fortunately for me. But one thing that I do know, that there is a lack of, and I think it's an intentional lack of education for minorities, even informing us of how, the games are played, how the system's played. Because as long as I've been around, now like Roderick Dow is my CPA, and Roderick, he has investments that he has put our money in, but I don't know if any of those things are in the stock market. And so I've never really paid a whole bunch of attention to it. But
well, I don't know what he could put your money in if it's not the stock market, or versus, is he buying real estate for you? Is he putting you in people that are going to build strip centers, and all of a sudden you're investing in it to give you some kind of a tax benefit? I don't know, but chances are any 401k
for Mr. Trump were poor. And I haven't seen him do a single thing that advances them economically.
Well, I would say that it's also true for the white community, because I was
talking about the white community.
But I don't, when I was in school, I never got any instruction on how to balance a checkbook, how to look at bank statements, how to even open a checking account, anything about, how come they hold out Social Security, how come they hold out taxes, federal income tax from my checks. Nobody ever explained any of that stuff to me. Not in school. You have to take specific classes to know that, or study it on your own in order to learn it. Now, I'd like to think that the school systems are going to do a better job of that, but I don't know that they are. I haven't. I don't think any of my sons or grandkids would say that they've had any sort of teachings of how all those systems work, and yet it's such a vital thing to the economy. And a lot of people have IRAs and 401ks and things like that, that they probably are just asked the question when you sign up with your employer: do you want to be aggressive, moderate, or very defensive? And whatever your decision is how they invest the funds, and that's about the extent of your knowledge of it. And other than seeing it when you get fired and they say, what do you want to do with this? Do you want to roll it over into an IRA or into another fund, or what do you want to do? And then people are caught off guard, and I don't know what to do with it. Sometimes they leave it there for a long time when actually they need to roll it over, and it might be that they could invest it in a better way. But if you don't have any education on it, whoops, then you don't even know what to do. So I told my sons, and only one of them listened to me. I have 3 sons. I told them, I said, when you're in high school or you're in college, take a personal finance class. Only one of my 3 sons did it. And my oldest son, who didn't, is now more or less considered the CEO of a church, running a budget, and he knew nothing about it. All he knew how to do was to stand up there and preach and talk the Word of God, but he didn't know about how to manage and steward the tithing of people, because he never took a finance lesson, so he had to learn it from the elders or from the deacons or from whoever is there to help him. Of course, me too, I could advise him, but not everybody has those resources. So there's not a lot of, I was never trained on how to learn finances or cash flow sheets or any of those kinds of things. And I learned it all on the job. Luckily, I was exposed to it, and I was able to ask questions and became good friends with our chief financial officer at the time. He was the radio controller, and learned a lot of things from him because I took the initiative. But most people don't do that until they're asked to make a decision, and then what is the probability of making the best decision? It's low because you're not prepared to make a decision. So anyway.
Yeah, well, basically, you said what I was talking about. You were.
Loader, 4K, HDR, Fine 1.
My television decided to start talking.
Tiffany Valianti.
Isn't that nice?
He's struck by a train 4 miles from home. But was projected suicide or something?
Yeah. Well, hey, you all control.
It's possessed. Oh my God, it's possessed.
Yes.
You need
yes.
You need what do you call it? When you pull the bad spirit out of some.
Exorcism.
Yeah, exorcism. Exorcism. That's what you need. Yeah.
Yeah.
Call the Catholic priest. He'll do it for you.
Hey, Naomi Washington. Now you see why we're doing these before we go big time and start publicizing and stuff, trying to get all of the things that can go wrong out. One is make sure my TV stays off, and now.
Two, don't step on the dog. Is that the next rule?
This dog loves me. I don't know why. I guess because I treat him nicely. But Polo,
yeah.
do you mind allowing me to do this show? I know you see Gary's buffalo, but it's not a real. The buffalo's dead.
No
Now,
bull. That's no bull.
Yeah, no bull. Now, if you want me to kill you and hang you on the wall so you can be on TV, that's about the way it's gonna work. Okay? All right. So, but anyway, seriously, it's so much going on. Your boy has his sons selling Bitcoin, Bibles, watches, and I thought it was against the emoluments laws or something like that for presidents to make money off of their office this way.
Yeah, well, they claim that Trump has nothing to do with it.
Oh, please.
But,
please. Do you believe that, Gary?
Well, but that's what they say, and there's who's disagreeing with them other than you right this minute? Who else is saying that has any pull to be able to go up against Trump and not being able to do these things? Nobody seems to be, and it's ironic because they were so upset about Hunter using Joe Biden as a leverage to be able to be on a board, to be able to make however much money they paid him on a monthly or annualized basis, which is pennies to what Trump is getting for his family, So, if I could leverage my position as when I was president and COO of Univision for my sons to be able to make money that didn't work for the company that I worked for, but that were separate, would I let them or would I not let them do that? And why wouldn't I? If they're doing it, and if it's not affecting the revenues of the company that I'm working for, if anything, if there's any way to stretch it to the point where it's beneficial, then I don't know.
But Gary, if the sons of the President of the United States are buying Bitcoin, isn't it more likely that somebody else would be, not buying Bitcoin, selling Bitcoin? Because they're selling Trump's Bitcoin. Anyone seeking any kind of political favors or who has been seduced by his message, they are going to probably fall into that financial trap.
Right. That's right. And so then it begs the question, is what he's doing what they're doing to make money, and his kind of unspoken endorsement of it, because he goes to the dinner where all the investors are, that's pretty telling right there. Is he doing that for the American people, or is it just for him? And why does he have so much support irregardless of that? And why is it not out? Why aren't there marches other than about you're not supposed to have a king, right? But that's not about him making money through his sons for the Trump family. Why are we marching against that? And why aren't people able to do anything about it? It seems like nothing can be done about it, and it's just the way politics is going to work now. And we've known politicians really think of all the politicians, how much money they make, and how do they become millionaires? I mean, from Nancy Pelosi,
investments,
and from what they learn through the government, because business has to come to the government to get mergers to happen, that they have got to be able to get the right. I even went up and lobbied the Hill when I didn't like the way the ratings were going for black and brown radio stations, and had a congressional hearing trying to force Arbitron to change their methods so that black and brown ratings were higher as they were before they came out with what's now called the portable people meter that people wear to use to be able to record what listening to radio they're doing. And Spanish and black radio stations dropped disproportionately to the white stations, you could say, or the non-black, not brown stations. And so I was up there trying to get Congress to do something about it, to force Arbitron to fix it. And they did do some things. We had the congressional hearing. They had to come back with a promise in 2 years. They were going to do, within 2 years, they'd make all these changes. So I use the government for that, for the betterment of the ratings. Do I care if the ratings are accurate? Not as long as my ratings show that we're number one, or we're in the top 5.
Let me ask you this. What happened to, well, I had good years at KYOK, KCOH, and some moderate years in some other places. Then, of course, Magic came on, and then there was the box. And now it looks like KTSU gets more media coverage and more exposure than any of the black commercial stations. You, as a former top executive of a billion-dollar broadcasting company, did y'all buy us out, sell us out, whatever? Because people used to turn to us when they wanted to communicate with the black community. But now I see more black people on TV, people who used to, be around the radio station. They're now sitting on TV, and we don't own any TV stations, not here.
Well, however the ratings are working now, and I've been a little bit out of the know here for a while, having left Univision a number of years ago. But they do have to solicit the audience to participate, meaning just people that live in the community, and you get disproportionate sometimes of people that are willing or not willing to participate. And I think it gets harder and harder to get that to happen. And they just changed a rule recently how to calculate CUME, which is the number of people that tune in for at least 5 minutes. I think they changed it now to the number of people that tune in for at least 3 minutes. So what happened? Well, it makes it look like there's more people are all of a sudden listening, but it's just another way of calculating the people that are representing that particular segment of how much they're using that particular medium. So for as much as either a company, a broadcast company, or in this case Nielsen, which is the only rating services, however they work together, somewhat overseen by the government, although not the microscope isn't there all the time. Only when there's a disagreement, and then you take it to Congress to try to see if they can plead your case and force whoever it is that if it's Nielsen you're complaining about, to get them to cooperate. But then is it in the public interest, and is it actually accurate? And there's always going to be a disagreement between the ratings people and the broadcasters if you're not coming out on top. So everybody, the fall guy is always complaining about the Nielsen ratings, or back in the day when I was doing it was called Arbitron. So that goes on, but I don't think there's any behind the scenes, under the table stuff going on.
Oh,
There
really?
shouldn't be.
Really?
Well,
Really?
you think that now Nielsen charges plenty of money to the broadcasters,
Hmm.
and they don't charge much cost to the advertising agencies,
Well,
right?
okay, well, I'll put it like this. You talk about how much they charge. If you are a minority, you have to pay the same amount that the majority people have. And if you have the money, it's sort of like who can buy. Oh, you have a Tesla. What's the most expensive? Oh, I'm gonna ask you how much you paid for one of your Teslas. But if people are trying to sell Teslas, are they coming to the black community because they know that most of us don't make Tesla money?
Well, they're trying to come out with cars that are 35,000 to as low as 25,000. That opens the door up for more people that are making less money to be able to afford a car, because they probably have to buy a regular gasoline car for that much money anyway.
And that's what I'm saying. Um, the have-nots get not because the haves want more than what the have-nots have to offer. And how do you grow economically when you're not a part of the economic plan, other than maybe to take something away from, to force people out to get their properties? I had family members who lived in Riverside Terrace. I see now that Riverside Terrace has become crime infested. But when I came to Houston back in 1969, and that bayou was filled with rich white folk, a lot of them Jewish, etc., etc. Now, as those people have moved out, somehow, all of a sudden the policing got bad, flooding got bad, this, that, and the other. And I assumed that as soon as they run all the other ethnic minorities who are there now as they're cleaning out Third Ward, that all of the things that were happening before will happen again. It'll become a nice neighborhood where people can walk on the bayou. The policing will be adequate. The flooding will stop. We forget how much government impacts our daily lives. And even if it's policing, if it's there, what are your chances, if you happen to be an ethnic minority, of being presumed guilty of a crime, rather than, because the question is no longer why are you there. The question becomes, will I be targeted? Will I be, what's that other word? Uh, when they prejudge you? Stereotype. Gary, you look like
Stereotype.
it seems like you're getting a little
yeah.
bit of a smirk there.
No, I'm just. That's the good and the bad about all of this. Yeah, but there's little that we can do about that, because just I don't know what the solution is to that. I think it's some people would say that it's progress to try to redo neighborhoods and upgrade them, but yet the people that are living there can only afford what they're paying maybe now, and you're trying to get it all upgraded, and then the cost of living goes up because your property taxes go up. The place gets an increased cost of living to be able to stay there, and so you feel like, well, you're trying to run me out, when in fact they're trying to upgrade it all, but there's associated costs as a result of that. Oh, almost spilled my water here. But anyway.
I thought the devil had thrown a pitchfork at you.
No, I just elbowed a big old glass of water. This thing would have fallen over, man. It would have been bad news.
Oh, okay. For telling his secrets. But oh, turn it on. Okay. No, it is just something that we live with.
Say hey to Tom Overton.
Hey, Tom Overton. Tom, where did you go to college that first year? Navarro. What city is that? Corsicana. Yeah, Tom is from Corsicana. I think he's moved back up there. And hello to Naomi Washington. We haven't gotten red hot yet, although Gary's turning red based on what I see on the.
Y'all are. You have had 52 views,
Oh,
4
had 50
comments,
52?
5 likes, and
52, all right.
Why not?
Okay, but anyway, we'll be taking some phone calls. But I love to mess with Gary.
Sharon Robertson said, "Good afternoon."
Oh, Sharon Robertson Jones.
Yeah.
Hey, Sharon, how you doing, girl, lady?
Look, it say you can bring them on the video.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you want to try that?
Oh, sure. I don't know which video they're seeing.
I don't either.
I
Hello,
don't-
Mr. Topic. It says bring them on video.
Okay.
We're gonna try something. We just got this notification
I'm
that
s-
we could possibly bring someone on video. Oh, I'm in the shot.
Okay.
Pardon my dress.
I'm trying to get this phone
So
to come on.
Simpson, if this works,
Simpson Ipinosa.
yeah.
Uh,
So I sent you a request that says your audience is set to custom, so only the people you select can watch this
Oh, really?
live broadcast. So let's see, I sent a request. So if you can click on that for us to see if we can actually utilize this feature, let us know. That'd be helpful. You can just pop on for a second, but don't want to compromise. If you're at work, we understand, but if anyone else gets that option where we can bring you on video, help us out. This is our test run, so we appreciate you guys' patience. And I know one thing that's better on this live is, Gary, you sound great. Okay,
Oh, good.
it is
I'm
very
glad to hear
clear.
that.
So Sherman, I know last time you joined us, so thanks for always supporting. Let us know how the audio is, because I know our first run at this, we couldn't really hear Gary well. So let us know how we're doing this go round, okay?
yeah, we're still learning. Hey,
Okay, Clem Trotter, it says that we can bring you on. So we're going to try that out. I'm sending over a request to you, Clem, and see if this works. We got a thumbs up. So, yeah, thank y'all. We are excited to journey with everyone together on this. We're not perfect. We're feeling our way through.
yeah, Crystal told me this phone was working. I'm sorry, Alessandra Crystal Yvonne. Okay, Harris. And watch yourself. You know, I'm a made man. Ain't that right, Gary?
Okay.
Yeah, we're gangsters. Radio gangsters.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. I like it.
Just so y'all know, we have a few things that will pop up on my father's post. So we'll do a post after this. I'll make sure, Gary, you're always tagged in it as well, so people can find your page and follow you. But we have a formal person-to-person podcast Facebook page.
That I know nothing about.
Right. But that's all in the good fun of having me a part of the game. I do the back end. So Sherman said, great audio on Mike, not so well on Mr. Stone's.
Well, maybe we need to get Mr. Stone a little bit closer to the, which microphone, is that the one here or
So
the one here?
it's probably the one closer. But remember, this is necessary to see you, because we'll figure that part out.
Well, I see me, and we see him, and we see you.
Yeah, but
And
I'm
so-
not in the shot. I'm not.
Yeah,
properly-
you're right down there.
I know, but I'm not trying to be. So if you
Okay.
could.
Oh, well, maybe they want to see, you want to have us both here, two old men.
Well, you guys are the showrunners, so they're not here to see me.
I thought showrunners were people who work behind the scenes. We're the stars.
Okay, well, that's what I meant.
Oh, well, maybe they'd rather look at her while we talk.
Well, I pity the fool.
So really quick, following this, we'll be live till what? About 4:30?
Well, what's the phone number for people to call? Because
What's the phone number?
Yeah, because I'm trying to be nice to Gary. I ate him up last time, didn't I, Gary?
I can barely take it, Michael. Beating you up here.
832-564-9609. 9609.
But before you call, we just gotta make sure we have no. Yep,
Oh.
let's keep doing that. I don't know
Yeah,
what that means.
well, the battery is, maybe the battery is going dead on this
Yeah,
phone.
but in the meantime, we have an active chat, so appreciate y'all on the great comments. Simpson, thank you so much. Appreciate it. He commented, good job, Crystal, as the side hype woman for my dad. So
The side hype.
I'm just on the sidelines, just trying to get the kinks worked out, and then it'll
Okay.
all be you and Gary.
And Gary is more, y'all can't see him unless
You
you're
will
watching.
though. Yeah.
Okay. Now on here, I look different than I look on the computer pad. But anyway, do I need to get another phone that actually
We
works?
just need to make sure it's charged. So, but in the meantime,
If
we're
you turn
live.
it on, you got to push the button on the right side and hold it down
Yes, sir.
for a long time.
A long time.
Oh, Michael done that, Mr. Gay.
Oh, well. And then you should see a little Apple sign jump up with one bite
No.
taken out of it.
See,
Awesome.
you see the little thing there that's showing that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
But
Yeah.
it doesn't appear to be
You say
charging.
we have a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, but I have another phone somewhere.
we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Thank
we'll
you for
figure
your
it out.
humor. See here, Larry Chatterbox
What's
says,
up, Mr.
charge your
Box?
phone, Top Jock.
Well, if you notice, Chatterbox, I have two phones working already. This is the third one. You want to make a contribution to the phone supplies? Anyway, no, I got Gary for that. You know, that's y'all be wondering why the white guy. I was the white guy.
Okay, so
See,
there's a formal format to this. Okay, now y'all gotta remember this is a podcast. Okay.
oh,
So-
well, we haven't, but okay.
Okay, so
Now, are we
I
able
thought
to
this
get a listener on? Are we able to connect with a listener, or we can't because of this phone being
exactly, but we
charged?
But we will. But in the meantime, what we're gonna do is to make it a bit interactive. We have a lot of hot topics happening on a local level and national. So if you could drop in the chat what you care to discuss, what that is as far as the protests and what Mayor Whitmore had to say in regards to it being.
Whitmire.
Oh, excuse me, Whitmire. Pardon. You know, I'm in Dallas, so I know how to say my mayor's name correctly. Pardon me.
Pardon me is his name.
No, pardon me. Like I was going to you, whatever. Also, we can definitely talk about what Governor Abbott had to say. F around and find out who he talking to. We would like to know. And what do you want to? So, what's one more thing that we could drop in the chat? People want to talk about. Y'all can have some dialogue, you and Gary, about the topic.
Well, I
Anything they want.
yeah, like Mike Miles getting a $500,000 pay raise. You know, just boy. But you're out in Katy, so you're not familiar with what's going on in HISD.
Well, no, I've seen it on the news that he has the opportunity to make $600,000 more or less if you include his bonuses.
No,
So yeah.
it's more than that, Gary.
All right, well, that's where we'll leave it. We'll talk about that. That's up. Let's have some dialogue. So drop in the chat what your thoughts are about, what's the gentleman's name?
Mike Miles.
Mike Miles.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So,
F. Mike Miles.
like, really? Is that his first initial
No.
M? Mike
Yeah, I
Miles?
believe it is F. Mike Miles, isn't it, Gary?
We have to
I don't
clarify things like that, you know, so people don't take that out of context. Because you saw how I look. Because that could have been taken differently.
You think I can?
Okay, well,
You know, we're talk show hosts. We are to be controversial,
okay.
right?
Sharon Robertson says, don't know if it's on my end, but we are going in and out. Thanks for that feedback. We will, the only way, what did it say? If you say?
Your PC needs to be restarted. There could be somebody just doing that. You never know.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's not, and that doesn't interfere.
But Sharon says it's, you know, if it's still going in and out. Again, these are not the official podcasts. We're still trying to work out the what would you call them, the glitches. Oh my God,
yes.
Gary's pulling out his guitar.
I'm thinking that we need to have a theme song
We should,
for
Gary.
Michael and Gary, so I'm going to work on it. I'm going to work on a theme song about Michael and Gary talking on Facebook all day long. You know, something. We'll come up with a theme song.
Well, we're not going to be doing Facebook, are we?
Okay, Father.
Well,
Yes.
we are right now.
Okay. Yes, because it's an element that people have long been a part of and gotten used to, so it's necessary.
Okay, Sherman Smith Jr., Simpson Epinosa, Simpson's, from Nigeria. He's a real brother, Gary. Then there is Larry Chatterbox Hill, Sharon Robertson Jones, Tom Overton, and a host of other people. What am I doing now?
Nothing. I thought I was giving some context, but
Well, please forgive me.
yeah. So yeah, the format will be for moments like this. This is the real BTS, okay? You guys get a chance to see the behind the scenes until we get it perfect. But for right now, we're rolling with what we, the best way we can, right?
Okay. I didn't know what BTS. Did you know what that meant, Gary?
I knew what a BLT is.
That's good.
But I know I have another phone around here somewhere.
All right, not a problem. So let's stay focused. Let's talk Mike. Let's get at about 5 minutes topic. Provide your insight about it, or 3 minutes on the topic, and then we can leave it up to people to share their thoughts in the chat. We'll move on to talk about y'all's thoughts about the protests that happened over the weekend and Governor Abbott and his language choice. It's turned on. It's powered on now. The number to call is, learning from my father, go slow, 832-564-9609. We're taking calls at this time, so if you want to call in and be a part of the conversation, the number to call is 832-564-9609.
Is there a vehicle at our front door? Ring says it is. I don't know. Somebody
That's probably your lawn sprinkler guy or whoever that guy you talked to earlier.
That's probably old. Can you there you go, your ADHD. Focus. There's nobody there. Okay.
Okay. Well, y'all know the telephone. There are really some rather unkind things that I would like to say, but I'm going to keep them to myself.
Good.
For a while anyway. But it's not unkind about you, Gary. It's just about some of the stuff that I see going on in the world today. Again.
That's a good tease for the next podcast.
Well, yeah, okay. They're bombing again the people in the Ukraine. And Trump says he's coming home because of that. Then they're bombing over the Iranians again, and the Iranians are supposedly up to no good again. It's just so much vile stuff going on in the world. And here in the good old U.S. of A., the president says he doesn't want to waste money at colleges that believe in DEI. He doesn't believe in affirmative action or equity, and all of that sort of stuff. And I just don't understand some of the stuff that we're doing.
Don't forget that he's talking about eliminating FEMA, and here we are in a hurricane-prone city. And if he does away with FEMA and we have some damage, it's going to be up to the state to step in where FEMA used to be. And I haven't heard from Governor Abbott or any other governor how they plan on doing that. It's kind of interesting that here we get all this news about cuts at FEMA, and you hear that they're not going to be able to help people with their property that gets destroyed and the flooding. But nobody from the state seems to be speaking up saying, don't worry, we're here to save you guys. We're all on board with Trump getting rid of FEMA. Don't worry. You can count on Greg Abbott and the state of Texas to take care of you if your property gets damaged and you lose your home because of FEMA. Have they said anything about that? I haven't heard that if they have.
No, I really haven't either, and that's part of the, I guess you could say, the confusion that I have about what's going on, in the country. Um,
But you
uh,
said it, if I can interject. If one thing about our generation is we have experienced the corporate dynamic in a way that maybe, especially you've had the pleasure of having really one job. And for
one
work,
profession, not
excuse me,
one job.
one profession. So to give some context, this behavior of his is what we would call confusement. One thing about the corporate game is that they want to keep you so confused that you really can't follow what's happening. And so they want you to perceive within your investment that we're a family. I got your back. And there's pathway to climbing the corporate ladder, but it really depends on the health of the company, meaning it's the integrity and character about how they take care of their people. Now, all of us have had some variety of experiences in the workforce. I can say that I'm grateful for all the job opportunities that I've been blessed with because it gave me full understanding and holding me accountable on one, what ability and power do I have to make a difference? Two, what am I wanting to believe? And so I think that that's kind of where things are right now. Yes, we want the government to be a lot more full of humanity and consideration, but the reality is the game that they're playing. So I think that if you have a perspective of how do I not take things from an emotional standpoint, but look at things from the kind of the game of society, and he's a businessman. So the logic of what the behavior and patterns that are happening right now is behavior of some would call kind of gangster mentality, you know, things that are portrayed in the movies in a way, kind of like Bumpy Johnson type style or the mafia type style. So I think that the better way to kind of expand your understanding about what's happening is you both are right. It should be the governor saying, hey, this is what is at play and how we're going to go about it. But we have to face what the kind of democracy and behavior is wanting to be portrayed right now. There's a perception from Trump that we are perceived on a weakened level of the, kind of the American landscape. He feels that we need to come in with gusto and just some, tactics in a way that are just not about how we do business in a way of the American people. He does not care about that. So, to round it out, I think that if you look at it from a sense of the right thing would be to go about it in a way of taking care of the American people. But it's almost being bamboozled, I guess you could say.
Okay, because when you say taking care of the American people, I'm not looking necessarily for someone to feed me or take care of me. But Gary, I think we talked about this a little bit before. You're out in Katy. So do y'all have flooding problems out there?
I don't know where I live because we have a little lake behind our house, and our backyard's goes down toward the lake. So the lake takes on all the water. So even during Harvey, when it rained 32 inches here, it never made it but about halfway up my incline in my backyard. So I don't have flood insurance because it's going to have to be a lot worse than Harvey that for me to have worries about having flood here. Now that's not true for everybody because not everybody's on the lake, so they may have to worry about it. And from the front door maybe, but it didn't happen in Harvey, so I'm not expecting to have an issue.
Okay. Well, we have a bayou back here. Our flood insurance, I think this year is like $900, and used to pay maybe $200 or $300. Now it's up to $900. We're paying for that, and certainly $900 would not cover the cost if we were to have some serious flooding. But if the government is allowing people to come in and do things that or if the government itself is doing things that cause the flood waters to rise, don't they bear some responsibility? Um, and so rather than cutting off benefits to poor people or trying to cut back on benefits to poor people, uh, Gary, he's trying to make it so that you can keep more of your money.
But that's the point I was trying to get to.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, so we have the same point.
Well, what I mean is, his logic is we've lost sight, based on his behaviors, pulling these things, we lost sight on figuring out other solutions to provide, or, our accessible resources within each other and community to provide solutions. Whereas things have become dependent. But at the end of the day, it is a right to everyone because these have been put in place. But as you can see, his whole tactic is removing a lot of government funding, nonprofit funding. Like there's behavioral patterns, especially of what he did in the first 100 days, to send a message saying, hey, at the end of the day, figure it out some other kind of way. It doesn't make it right. I don't agree with him on that, but that's the message it comes across that he's sending. Like, it's because of all these things that have been available in place. These are monies that we can use to kind of get America back in a
like having a $10 million parade for him on his birthday, and to hide it under the cover of the what was it, the what anniversary was it of the military?
250 of the Army.
You made a valid point.
200.
We should definitely talk about that. But that's what he does, is he finds the loopholes and no one showed up, right?
Well, some people showed.
Many did not. Yeah, many did, but many didn't. So, but it's the spectacle, and the news coverage, and him showing that he's the most powerful man in the world. So he has always admired dictators. Yep. So they do those kinds of military parades, and he wants to do it. And they've talked about how he's been wanting to do it even in his first term. Yep. But the thing that I think is hard for the public not to be critical of Trump, because when he's just making decisions and you don't see it as being strategic, you don't see it as he's really trying to bring down the deficit, you don't see it as how he's going to be benefiting the public with these cuts. And they may be necessary because of the deficit, but people don't like change. And if people don't like change, they don't like change when they don't know what's going to take its place when a service or something the government has been funded goes away. How is it going to happen in the future? And you feel like there's going to be a void there, and then that's going to be bad. And it seems like he makes these different decisions without thinking through the entire strategy of why he's making these cuts. And the same thing with immigration. Now all of a sudden he's saying, okay, well, we don't want the illegals that work on farms, to not be able to come and do farms. Arnold Schwarzenegger told me years ago when he was governor, when we were together in Fresno together, he says, we have 75,000 visas for temporary work permits for people to come in to the United States to work in agriculture, picking strawberries or whatever. He said, we need 175,000, but we can't seem to change the law to allow 175,000, so 100,000 has to come here illegally.
To get the job done.
And let me tell you what, those people aren't coming here to stay in the United States. They all want to stay in their home country. Nobody really dislikes their home country so much unless it's a dictatorship with tyranny and or poverty and you're making $1 a day. Do you want to leave your home country? From all the Hispanics that I've met, they all would rather live in their home country, but they're here because of the financial needs of being able to have a roof over their house and a job that pays them some money so they can have a better standard of living. Okay, so the problem is changing the immigration laws to allow for the appropriate amount of people to come here, be a temporary worker, and go back. My wife's father never planned on staying in the United States, and his wife, my wife's mother, was born in Detroit, and so she's a legal citizen, right? Mm-hmm. So if he hadn't have died, my wife's father, they would have moved back to Mexico, my mother-in-law would be a beauty salon person. He would have had some sort of a mechanic shop or print shop. And my wife would have grown up in Mexico, or grew up in Mexico, rather than growing up here. But he passed away. She was an American citizen, my wife's mother, so they didn't leave. They didn't go back. They didn't really have anything to go back to. So they had to stay here, even for financial reasons of not being able to have money to move back to Mexico. And so my wife's mother became an elevator operator at Palais Royal. So, and she raised 5 kids on her own, and she couldn't even speak English. Didn't even know how to drive a car. So anyway, so I would wish that Trump could have thought this through with the immigration issue and said, okay, we're not going to send back illegals that do farm work. We're not going to send back those that work in hotels. We're not going to send back those that do all this other manual labor. But if you're a criminal, or if you have a criminal record, we're going to send you back no matter where you work, right? So if that could have been decided ahead of time, you wouldn't have the Homeland Security people out chasing farm workers, running up and down the fields, trying to arrest them to make them go back to wherever they came from. Now, I'll tell you an interesting thing, Michael. There was a Radio Ink. Radio Ink is a magazine that's a cute name for being the information on radio. It's not a gossip magazine. It's much more than that. We have inside radio for gossip, but for Radio Ink is for all broadcasters. But they did a Radio Ink Hispanic convention and award show here in Houston last week up by the hotel by George Bush Airport. When I drove up to go to it, because I was invited to go there by a company called Nueva Media, and they invited me to dinner that night as well, I drove in and I saw these military-looking police officers and flashing lights and military-looking vehicles. So I didn't think too much of it. I thought that the guy was going to talk to me when I pulled in the parking lot, because I thought they were there for crowd control, even though it was only 200-300 people at this convention. Turned out it was ICE looking to see if Hispanics going to a Hispanic radio convention were illegal residents, and whether or not we were going to protest outside the hotel against immigration or whatever we were going to protest against, like the Kings protest. Of course, none of that happened. Yet Homeland Security was in force at this hotel last week here in Houston for a peaceful business people convention. So it just goes to show that they're going to go to any lengths to be able to be where they think there might be somebody that is illegal that they can arrest, or that we might protest and they can arrest us for protesting. I was surprised. I don't know why I was, but I was surprised to learn that after I got inside and the convention began, they mentioned the reason why all those military-looking police officers were out in the parking lot.
Well, considering you are a Caucasian male, what the hell is the motivation behind this?
Well, they weren't there because of the likelihood of me being there. It's because the likelihood of Hispanics being there.
Yeah, I know that, but why?
Some people think I'm Argentinian, right? They can think I was here from Argentina as an illegal immigrant.
Okay,
but nobody talked to me about it.
But what's the problem with illegal immigrants? If the history that America teaches in its schools, then they were illegal immigrants. They came over here without any papers. And they came over here and slaughtered the people who lived here and took their land.
I think the thought is that, and it's a misguided thought, because I don't think the people that are against immigration and people coming here from other countries from poor situations or because of political reasons realize the economic benefit to having as many Hispanics in the country as we do, and how we could actually need more. But that said, because that's not what they're thinking of. So if you're actually able to eliminate all the illegal immigrants that are here, and there's estimates that it's not just 10 or 11 million, it's 20 or 30 million if you were able to send all those people back to their country they came from, what's the cost of getting someone to serve you a meal, to get you to make up your bed at your hotel, to be able to build your home, and to be able to do all these other services? That's all going to go up. So you need cheaper labor. We've always needed cheap labor, right? But now if we're going to start paying $20-$30 an hour to get that done, how's that going to affect? How's that good for the American public? It means that they have to pay more for products and services. Well, then, in order for them to afford to pay that, they've got to be able to get bigger raises, make more money to offset that, because that's creating inflation. And businesses don't want to pay you more because they're trying to make a profit if they have shareholders or just for their own management team to have money to live and make, a disproportionate amount of money as the owners, the equity owners of a company. So, I think the whole thought about why we don't want illegal immigrants goes back to a failed immigration law, a misunderstanding of what immigrants do for this country. And you can go back to when we came from England and we came to America. Those were immigrants. The Native Americans should have never been so nice to those people as they came over from Europe.
Oh, did you hear all that ruckus?
I heard a ruckus. So your little dog is attacking somebody, it sounds like.
Yeah, my sprinkler system has sprung a leak, and they are here to take a look at that. And,
so you're taking on water and you're sinking.
No, I'm not sinking. The sprinkler system is more than sprinkling. Hello. Hello.
Well, you need to get out the water wiggle and the slip and slide. Let's go.
Gary.
Hello, it's a baby.
What you're talking about, being a man of color and who is about the same age as you. You may have me by a couple of months. Something tells me that some people who look like you but don't think like you would love to hear me saying, "Yes, sir, Mr. Gary. Eyes be right over." And
I'm okay with that. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. I'm okay with that.
Say hey to
and I'll be out there in the slave quarters doing my thing.
Acknowledge you.
Naomi Washington, what's up, Naomi? Thank you all for taking the time to tune in. Sharon Scott, hello. Wanda Coleman, Boudreaux, Floyd Butler, Floyd Preacher Man Butler, Clifton Snowden. Snowden, what's up, Cliff? Saw him over at J&J the other day. George Colbert, and there are others. Your mama's. Oh, there. Scroll down more.
It's right here.
Okay, well.
Say that people's name.
Okay.
Really quick, we want to acknowledge everybody that's been tuning in. We have Richard Cobb, Naomi Washington, Sharon Scott, Floyd Butler, James Alford, Clifton Snowden, George Colbert, and Wanda Boudreaux. So thank y'all so much for your support.
It would be interesting to know if whoever it is finding us to be able to listen and watch this craziness between Michael and I. If you're black, brown, or not either, or if you're white, Asian, black, because we have now the opportunity to reach all different audiences, where we were a little bit more constricted because of the radio station we were on, being known as a black radio station. I don't know how many white listeners a black radio station are, but I don't think it's many. But on a forum like this, we have the opportunity to have a broader audience.
Yeah.
So if there's any way to know if we're going to be able to gain a broader audience or not, we can identify the audience other than by name.
You know what? Well, you may say one thing, but we put on a show because even the dogs want to be on it.
Well, what color are they?
Watch it now. Watch it. Watch it.
Are they black, brown, or white, or a combination?
Well, one's black and white, but I think it's gray. More than white.
Oh, I can identify with gray.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, and the other is still black. Okay.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know how long we want to go. I can still go for a while longer, but I know
Okay.
our caregiver for my wife is going to be leaving in a little bit, so
Okay.
we've been doing this for a little while. But I'm not saying we have to stop
Okay.
now, but
Do
we should
we
stop
have to
fairly
stop?
soon.
No, so Gary,
No?
we don't have to stop. This is a portion that I hope that we can kind of incorporate, possibly, such as
Michael Vaughn Williams.
Michael Vaughn Williams live in the studio. Okay, so we're going to have Mr. Williams kind of be a part of it. Give us about 5 minutes, and if you got to hop off, that'd be great.
Oh, Gary doesn't have anything to do. Look at him. He's like me.
I'm missing my nap. I'm missing my afternoon nap.
Okay.
Right.
What are you unplugging?
It's fine. So, Mr. Williams,
Yes.
you want
Okay.
to slide more closer to...
Is this the lawn sprinkler guy?
Yes, it is. You've heard about me, huh?
Perfect. Now you're
Yeah,
inside.
I was around when you called in
Oh, okay.
to let him know you're on your way.
Oh. Well, obviously, Michael has been doing something right because I had to fight traffic to get here. I had to go to all different kinds of freeways just to get over here.
Let me see if I
Oh,
can-
really? Yeah, I know. It's not the easiest place to get to. He's a long ways from me. I live in Katy, and he's way on the east side, so we'll have to...
Yeah, he's come. He didn't make my birthday this year. In fact, we had a birthday party for just me and Yvonne.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty nice, Michael, that you have a lawn sprinkler system. That's pretty fancy.
Oh, you don't have one, Gary? You have that whole
No,
pool.
I do.
Yeah, I know
I know
you
a
do.
guy. I don't know if you know
Gary
this guy.
even
He
has a
does
bidet.
sprinkler repairs.
Mhm.
He's like a 1-800 number. His name's Bill. I forget what his last name is.
Yeah,
Well, forget
He
about
does
Bill.
forget
I do repairs also. Forget about Bill.
That's what I mean. But I thought you might know the guy.
Oh, okay.
You might even be part of his reference because he has sprinkler companies all over Houston, and then he has the 1-800 number. People call when their sprinklers are broken. He finds out what part of town they're in. He sends their sprinkler system guy that's closest to them to come fix it.
Oh.
So you might be part of that network.
No,
And if you're
I'm
not, and you want to be, I could probably hook you up with them. You
Yes,
might get
I'd
another
like to
way
at least get the information about that, sure.
Yeah, so I'll have to ask a friend of mine that's a really good friend of his. All I can remember, his name is Bill. But I'll
Okay.
find out. I'll give it to Michael, and then he can give it to you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank
so,
you.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Always
Well,
happy
no.
to help out.
Yeah, this is Michael.
Good name, right?
Yeah, Michael wrote the Boulder Sugar.
Oh,
Hallelujah. Do you remember that song, Gary?
I do.
Oh, okay.
I do. I used to sing that long time ago.
can you play it on your guitar?
I'm sure I can. I haven't, in decades, but I'm sure I can pick it up again.
Okay.
Easy enough. I play it on the piano, probably.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, and see
Yeah,
another problem that we have in our communities is business people like Mr. Williams face stiff competition from people outside of the community, and if we don't have the economic resources to get on television or the right radio stations or the newspapers, etc., communications issues kind of create a problem because we don't know who's available to do what, right?
True.
And well, Gary, you ran a company. Did y'all have rates for different folk, or did everybody pay the same rate?
Well, we had a rate card, and people had to. We were looking at what the cost per thousand, cost per point was, and it didn't matter, race, creed, or color. It's just if we had the avails and you're willing to pay the rate, then you got on the air.
Okay, but now we know that the economic system in this country was structured against ethnic minorities, especially black people. Um, we couldn't go to schools and we couldn't hold certain jobs, blah, blah, blah. If you know that this system has been set up in a way where I'm not going to get the same pay as you, why would you then go out and start a business and have me pay the same thing that somebody else, that the person who gets the better jobs has to pay in order for me to uh, have something like or similar or equal to what they have?
Boy, that was confusing. Did you get what he was trying to say?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, Gary. You know what I'm saying. This society has set us up to fail. It really has. Oh, maybe not right now, but I know Trump would love to do it. He wants to screw everybody he can.
It's certainly evolved that way because that's, and it's unfortunate, of course, but, those that can get ahead, get ahead. Those that can be pushed back, get pushed back. I mean, so
no, but
it's a fight.
Gary, when you base it on ethnicity, base it on color, base it on religion, base it on sex, and you are the powers that be, it makes you an ist.
What does that mean?
A racist, a sexist.
Yeah. Well, some people like to hire people that look like themselves. Some people like to hire good-looking people. Other people,
Yeah,
I would say that if you weighed 500 pounds, you might have trouble getting the same job that somebody that weighed 200 pounds could get.
okay, but
Why?
we're
You
not
might.
talking about poundage. We're talking about ethnicity or sex. Because women have been denied jobs simply based on their sex, and so you have all these people, especially people like me, who come from just something that popped up on the screen over there, that come from, in fact, one of my cousins sent me a history that one of the family members did years ago about my great-grandfather and my great-grandfather, etc., etc., and how they came to Texas after slavery ended. Can you imagine coming to Texas after slavery ended, trying to get away from the Klan and Jim Crow? They must not have known.
Well, it would have to be at least 2 years after slavery ended, or we wouldn't have Juneteenth.
All right, Gary.
Yeah, well, I think people like to hire people that are similar to themselves. There was when I went to Los Angeles, the sales manager was Jewish. Guess how many of the salespeople were Jewish?
All of them.
Yeah. So, I've given this example before. I go to my friend's birthday party. He's from Brazil, right? And so, how many people do you think were there that were Brazilian that could speak Portuguese?
I don't know, Gary, but I tell you what, as a black man,
99.9%.
but
And then when I go to Michael Harris's birthday party, how many people there are black versus white?
it doesn't mean I don't invite white people. Y'all just don't come. Y'all.
Well, I do. I'll take any free meal. If you're offering food and cake, I'm going to show up, okay?
Okay, but Gary, you're my friend and one of my friends who went to a rather prestigious white university, but he was on an athletic scholarship. He had one guy tell him that he couldn't hire him because, well, the job that he had was a white job. White people needed more money. A white man has to have an extra car for his wife so that she can go to the store and take the kids to the doctor just in case. And he has to have a nice car, especially after he's gone to college, in order to motivate other people to go to college. And they have to have this and they have to have that because they have a standard that they have to live, to. And so you got to help them. But you colored guys, y'all don't need all that. Now, with that mentality, floating around, and I know as old as you are, you've heard it before, that we just don't need as much and that our standards are not as high. How do we ever accomplish that, especially when you all control so many of the jobs because of this nation's history of denying us the opportunity, not us failing, but us being denied?
Okay, so how do you explain so many of the black athletes that make tens of millions of dollars? Are they an anomaly that's just, and they just were lucky because they were so blessed with particular athletic ability to be able to make, 10 million, 20 million, 50 million? How come there's not more? How can they do that based on your thesis there?
Well,
How did they ever get that?
No, Gary, that's not the thesis that I was making. The reason that they can make that money is because the Tillman Fertittas of the world are making billions off of those people. And they also have made contracts like the new stadium.
Yeah, but wouldn't they rather the athlete be white?
Certainly, but they want to win. And when we outlawed remember, we couldn't quarterback, we couldn't play center. What else couldn't we do? We couldn't do nothing. We were just a bunch of ignorant, clumsy clowns for a very long time in America. They said that the black man could not compete. But in order to win, once one got in there and showed what we really could do when we were given the opportunity, we have become astrophysicists, medical doctors, some of the best lawyers. You all just lied to yourselves in order to justify your imagined supremacy. Now, of course, you've done better than I have economically, and I don't blame you for that, but in ways, the system accepts you a lot better than it accepts me.
Yeah. But remember, too, I made mine through Spanish language Brown broadcasts that should have been led by a Hispanic person, not a white person. But that didn't happen, so I was just in the window of where I was able to do that. Is that because my bosses were predisposed to want to have a white person do it and not a Hispanic person? I don't think so. But, I know them as being very kind, generous, Christian people. They came from the Rio Grande Valley, so they're used to being around 80-90% Hispanics. So they didn't pick me because I was white to be able to run a foreign language, brown culture radio station.
Well, Gary,
because I was white, they picked me for my abilities.
Right, but being white has benefits, baby. You know that.
Yeah, and I know that you have to prove yourself when you're not white that much more. And
they don't want us. It's not just that you have to prove yourself, but you have to deal with the fact that almost nobody wants you there. They, not you particularly, but don't forget, when I came over to Kick, it was because of affirmative action. If there were no affirmative action, it would be.
Yeah, and you were making double the money, and you had the opportunity to at least politically try and stay there, and that didn't work out. And you went back to black radio, and you're making half as much.
Yeah.
So.
Because the big boys know how to control money. That's what Trump is doing right now. He's making his family and his friends his billionaire buddies, and you know it. And I think you're suffering for it because you're not a part of his billionaire buddies list. They're making all the money, and you're wondering what the hell happened. Who in the hell left the gate open? Ain't that right, Mr. Williams?
Well, I think
those who are controlling are controlled.
I think I'm discriminated against, not having ever been able to run as a general manager a white radio station because I wasn't Spanish, and they thought that Spanish was second or third class citizen versus a person that worked at a white station. And I'm telling them, if I could understand every word that's being said, and I don't understand any word that they're saying in the music. Yet I was part of a company that was worth billions of dollars, and you don't think I can do that with English and with a white station? And the answer would be no, because you're in Spanish, and we don't respect Spanish radio like we do English radio. So I know what it's like to be discriminated against.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, you got the job though, big fella, and you came out with your pockets stuffed. In fact, your jaws were so far out, you had to get a car that folded up in order to get in it.
Yeah, well, I had to swim in a smaller pond for that to happen.
Okay.
But they wouldn't let me swim in the big lake or the ocean, whatever you want to say.
Excuse me
right?
for a minute. Alessandra's telling me that I should speak to some other people. Hey, Dawson, Charles Dawson. Hello again to Richard Cobb and Naomi Washington, Sharon Scott, Lois Harvey, Annette Cole Dawkins, my cousin Annette, Wanda Coleman Bro, Floyd Butler, Pastor James Alford, my good buddy. What's up, Doc? Most white folk will not, what did he say, be honest on a black talk show. Gary, are you like most white folk?
I hope not.
Well,
Okay, we got some few. Hello.
there's some more?
Pardon my. So, really quick, 5 minutes to the hour. This has been lovely.
No, we don't have to sign up at 5 o'clock, do we?
Okay, well, it's clear that Father is having a wonderful time.
No, because
Gary has to get going.
No, Gary don't
Williams is here to assist with getting us back on track with the sprinklers. And we've been on since 3:30, so it's wonderful. Now we have some announcements. I need you to reel that in. We will be posting proper post after this, so that you guys can follow the Facebook page, that you can kind of have some direction on knowing what day will we be going live, what day will we be having our podcast posted. We'll give you all that kind of direction. Maybe right now we can decide on a date if y'all want to, or meaning a day of the week where you guys could go live. But I think this is perfect. You guys have a great yin and yang and a duo going. I forget.
Well, my feeling on it, if I could say, is Alessandra, is that I think I'd kind of like to do it sporadically without a definite time.
Okay.
You know, let's not say 5 o'clock every Friday, let's not say 5 o'clock every day. I'd rather, be able to announce it on Facebook and see what kind of audience we can get. And if people want to hear it, they should be able to get the recording at their leisure to be able to listen to it. This way, I know that your mother has issues medically. My wife does too. I have to stay flexible to be able to take her to the doctor, one of her treatments.
Amen.
Right?
Amen.
So I think the best way to do it, and if it turns into, over time, that we find a rhythm that works, then we could be a little more consistent. We might say, okay, well, on Mondays it's good if we do it at 2 o'clock, and on Thursdays it's good if we do it at 8 in the morning, and if we want to do something on Saturday even, we could do that at 2 in the afternoon, but then let it organically happen, and let's see how much audience we can build, and then we'll lean toward where we get the bigger audience to try to make it those times and kind of learn at the same time, let's make it available so they can hear the recordings if they really want to hear it. If the people that are watching and listening live really are just wanting to get on and be able to talk with us, that's one aspect of it. And if other people want to be able just to hear what we have to say about it, then they can do that at their leisure. So I'd like to leave it flexible, rather than picking a particular day of the week, every week and every time at the same time. I just think it's hard for us to meet that with what's going on in our personal lives. And if that can work, I think that'd be great.
Wonderful.
And it seemed like we're able to do it because we got an audience the last time we did it, the first time we did it. We seem to have an audience now. So let's just see how it evolves. And then it gives us a chance over the next number of weeks and weeks to get better and better at the mechanics of doing all of this. So
Yeah.
I think we'll get better and better, certainly as time goes on. Certainly we're going to be a lot better than we were today.
Awesome.
And we may not want to go for an hour and a half every time or 2 hours. We may want to get back to that 45 minutes or
Well,
so.
Gary, sometimes it takes that much time to get the truth out of you. You know,
Well, we can edit it down to 45 minutes or whatever people are willing to listen to on their own.
okay.
I
now,
love it. I
okay.
love it.
Now, when you need your sprinklers fixed, if you can't find your white folk,
This is our commercial. This is our first commercial.
Oh, wow.
Is on
I'm
sprinkler
impressed.
repair. Sprinkler
Right.
repair. There
well,
we
he
go.
does more than sprinkler repair, don't
That's
you?
Aquamatic Irrigation.
Yeah, get in
It's
touch.
Michael Don Williams with Aquamatic Irrigation.
Okay.
The number is 346 476 9065. And I also have a YouTube channel,
Oh, you do?
and it's called The Sprinkler Man, Michael Von Williams. And so I've posted, over 140 different YouTubes. And so have over 57,000 views.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and I just started about 2 months ago.
Okay, no OnlyFans or anything like
Wow.
that.
Pardon?
No OnlyFans or anything.
I don't know.
Okay.
Whatever only is.
Okay.
Do you know what OnlyFans
No,
are, Gary?
let's stay focused. Okay, really quick, a shameless plug. Thank y'all so much. This is us in the flesh of just figuring it out. It's not perfect, but eventually you guys will get a post soon that's going to pop up on my father's social media, Facebook. Gary will also be tagged, so make sure you're following Gary. They have a person-to-person podcast Facebook page, so we would love for you all to rate it, like it, follow. But a lovely description that I want to read real quick. So person to person is about two voices, one friendship, real talk. After 40 plus years in radio, two longtime friends, one black, one
50
white.
plus years.
Oh,
Yeah.
edit.
Well,
I will
yeah.
edit that.
Yeah, 50.
Pardon me.
Yeah.
Are bringing their unique chemistry and seasoned voices to the world of podcasting. With decades of experience and a bond built on mutual respect, they are tackling the issues shaping our world today, from different perspectives but always with heart, humor, and honesty. Whether it's navigating life, culture, politics, economics, or human experience, their conversations are raw, real, and rooted in friendship. This isn't just another podcast, it's a journey through decades of life, broadcast, and brotherhood. Join Texas Radio Hall of Fame members Michael Harris and Gary Stone for a candid conversation that inform, challenge, and entertain. You've never heard nothing quite like this. Tune in weekdays for new episodes on all podcast platforms. Shameless plug. Okay, I'm out.
Okay. Now, for my former contributors, when I was working at 1380, I know that you all may be wondering, why Gary? Well, the reason is primarily this. I don't ever think Gary was really appreciated like he should have been appreciated at 1380. And all the rest of you have had an opportunity, to go back and continue to function there. But in the future, I plan to talk to all of you or some of you who are willing to. But I also needed Gary, just like, you got to play the color game. Ain't that right, Gary?
That's right.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Just tell me, what's the website for this show? I tried to put in person to person Michael Harris, Gary Stone, and I didn't get anything to come up.
Well, Alessandra only tells me what she wants me to know, and so I can't tell you what the website is. I can't tell you nothing, except I'm 73 years old. I was amazingly good looking. She tells me I need to eat something. I need to wash my hands first. I was petting your dog.
Oh.
Let me. Okay, then let's get the beautiful Alessandra Harris to tell us where the website is. Is she still there?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
So the website is going to be a clickable link. I'll drop it into our chat, Gary. However, it's a clickable link on the Facebook page. So we'll talk offline about formalities on the website officially. So, because I want to get your insight. But there is something where people can follow along. So I'll drop that in there, okay?
Okay.
So-
I just wanted to see what you put together. I don't think I've seen it.
Yes.
So when's your birthday, Gary?
November
November.
the 16th.
November 16th? Yvonne, yours is November 23rd? Yeah.
My
okay.
brother's is November 15th.
Oh,
Really?
okay.
My dad's was November 18th, and his twin brother.
Oh,
November is forgetting month.
my mother's birthday was in November, so it is, who else's birthday is in November? A lot of people were born in November. I just can't remember. I'm getting-
Brother-in-law, actually, my brother-in-law was November 16th. Is November 16th.
Oh, really?
Same as yours.
How about that?
Okay. No,
Yeah,
so,
there you go.
no, so now all you do is,
Sprinklers?
Sprinklers?
Yeah, just sprinklers, and I'm
man,
I'm doing a podcast also.
Okay.
It's in the process.
Okay.
Mine is just going to be an audio podcast.
well, no, I'm just talking about enough people have sprinklers for you to make a living repairing sprinklers.
Well, I get, Michael, I'm not too far behind you as far as age, so. So I'm retired also.
You need to watch
So I do have a little something coming in.
Oh.
Other than my sprinkler business.
Oh, okay. Are you? What do sprinkler repairs cost?
It depends on what's needed.
Uh,
I mean, some can be $200, $100, or over $1,000. I just finished one yesterday, and that was $1,200 something.
repair or what's
A repair.
what's an install on a sprinkler system?
Installs, they're usually over 3,000.
Over 3,000.
Over 3. Right, exactly. So,
Mm,
because parts, labor, all of that is expensive.
mm.
And if you have a lawn and you want it nice, you don't want to have to get out there in that heat and try to water it, because if you put in nice landscaping, you don't water it, you know what's going to happen. You're going to lose it. So you might as well get the lawn sprinkler system installed, and that way you don't have to worry about that. Just set it and forget it.
Set it and forget it.
Mhm.
All right. Well,
And that's no bull. That's no bull right there. Okay.
I see the bull. Is that a bull?
Yeah, no, it's a
buffalo.
buffalo.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
Yeah,
a buffalo.
that's
Don't
what I'm
forget-
saying. That's no bull.
Oh.
now see,
See, this is a longhorn, though. You see that?
but think
I
about
saw
this.
that, yeah.
This man has enough money to go out and buy a buffalo head.
Oh, he may have killed that
He could
buffalo.
have killed it.
No, Gary's not a killer.
Actually, it was a gift. All I had to do was pay for the shipping of it.
Ah.
This buffalo used to be in TV commercials for Sears a long time ago when it was alive. And my friend, the owner of the buffalo, killed it for the meat. My friend took the head and had it taxidermied. He lived in Santa Fe. He was selling his place in Santa Fe and wanted to get rid of the buffalo head. And nobody bought it, so I told him, I said, well, I'll pay for the shipping. He said, well, you can have it.
Yeah.
So $500, and I got a buffalo head.
And you had a place to put it, too, huh?
Yeah, along with my father's deer head that he killed back in the 60s. And I have another one over here that you can't really see, but I have to figure out how to do that. But anyway, that's my...
Yeah, don't go back too far, because you may come up with the wrong head and we'd have a problem.
Well, it would be on the whole screen if I did that, so...
What does that mean?
You know what it is.
Don't tell her. All right, with that note, I'm going to sign off, guys. I enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you, Michael.
Nice meeting you, too, Gary. And send me the information
All right.
also. I give it to Michael regarding the...
I will. I have to call my friend. I was going to call him anyway. We're going to go to lunch, and I'll ask him how for you to contact Bill. He's got the 1-800 number, so I just know his first name. But anyway, I'll find all that out for you.
Thank you.
Gary's one of the good guys.
Yeah, that's a good...
Yeah, doesn't he look like Colonel Stubing from Star Trek?
Yeah, people say that. Handsome dude, that guy. Wow.
Okay, Crystal's cutting me off now. Alessandra's
Right.
cutting me off. I gave you the name, woman. I know what your name is. What your name is? Remember that song? What your name is?
Thank y'all so
What's your name?
much.
What's your name?
We need an outro. Hit us with an outro. Where's your
Guitar?
I can get my guitar. I'll work on my ukulele.
Yeah, ukulele.
That's all, folks.
Okay. Very good. Did you give out your number?
Bye. I did.
Oh, you did? You know, I can't remember
No.
numbers.
Well, that's all right.
Okay.
All right, give it out one more time.
346-476-9065. That's Aquamatic Irrigation. Michael Von Williams, the Sprinkler Man. You can also find me on YouTube.
All right.
And that's Michael, the Sprinkler Man, Michael Von Williams. That's VON. Simple.
And we all here for shameless plug. So we look forward to the next episode live. As Gary said, it's going to be sporadic. Just the best way to be able to accommodate both my father and Gary being great men, partners to their wives. And,
No, it accommodates her as well because I don't know how to set this stuff up. If I did, she wouldn't be here.
Well, the goal is for you to know how to do it, and I'm not over here because I'm not
Yeah,
trying to be. I'm just trying to be in the background.
Yeah, right. Look at it.
Hey.
Look at it. All bent over. You know. Oh yeah. You gonna show a little leg?
No, Daddy. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much, everybody that tuned in. This is Person to Person, the podcast. We appreciate y'all being on this
Okay.
journey.
Hey, come over.
Oh, make a cameo. Come on, Mama.
Come on, Mama. Come on.
Okay, well, my mother's in the background. Hey, Mama.
Yeah.
Love you.
Her hair is grown back. Come on, show everybody your hair.
So.
Sit here?
No. Oh, you do?
Oh, okay.
Oh, come on, baby.
She gonna make a cameo. Come
Yeah.
on in,
Yeah.
really quick.
Yeah.
Nah, I understand. See, they weren't thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. Anybody who can stay married to me and keep her hair.
That's right.
Come on in the shop.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
All right. The family, this is gonna be our outro. So with the ukulele and
Yes, it is.
and then when you see the shot of me and the family, compliments of Mr. Williams is in here. So compliments of the dog, not approving, but he family, so they're gonna learn you. They're gonna learn your scent.
Oh, God.
So thank y'all so much. This is a family affair. Gary and my father have been amazing friends for 50 plus years. So I gotta update the bio. Mr. Williams, come on in here.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I'll get back in.
Yeah, get back in the shot.
Get back in it.
Hey,
This is a family affair.
Oh, I
you
see.
got it?
Two Michaels, huh?
Two
Yeah.
Michaels. You got
Alondra,
it.
you know.
Okay. Two Michaels.
Alessandra.
Alessandra.
It's
Okay.
okay. We're going to get there. Alessandra, my mother, Iman, Diana Iman, if you know her.
Yes.
So thank y'all so much. We are excited. My father has continued his amazing career
Yeah,
as
right.
the one and only, as you can see in the background.
I just wonder, why am I so dark?
We'll work on that. We can't
I
control
think that's how you were born.
Yeah, but we'll work on proper lighting. But thank y'all so much for commenting, for giving us feedback. We're not looking to be perfect here. We just want to get it going, and we really appreciate all the support. Okay,
All right. Thank you.
bye y'all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, yeah.
Now time for me to fix the
See.
sprinkler, Michael.
Oh.